Tesla has, and that's because you can travel the country, you can charge. But with all the cars coming out, Tesla's bringing out a ton of cars. I think the supercharger network's got to expand. We can't be waiting in lines, and so charging faster, quicker, and just more infrastructure across the country is going to be the key, and that's why Tesla's been so far ahead of everybody else.
Real quick, by show of hands, how many people here are currently driving or at least have one electric vehicle in their household? All right, just about everybody.
I would have to agree with everybody on the panel. I mean, Tesla, if you look at them, they set the bar so high that, you know, the rest of the OEMs are coming on board. And if you look at the rest of the cars in the market, in a lot of ways, they're either compliance cars or they're a little dissatisfying in a lot of ways. I mean, Elon goes on Twitter sometimes, or even on interviews, and says, well, none of the cars are good as the car we put out in 2012. I think in a lot of ways you have to realize that the car manufacturers, they still got to keep the lights on. You know, they got to keep selling these other cars and stuff because, you know, they just don't have the battery tech. They don't have, I mean, they all laughed at Tesla for many years, and now here they are. I mean, they're forced to be reckoned with. I mean, stock price aside. But I think the OEMs really have to own the battery tech as much as what they own in terms of the ICE, the engine itself. Because if you look at the way the manufacturers, I mean, the only thing they keep in-house is body building, final assembly, and engine design and building. That's all they do. Everything else is literally outsourced. And Tesla is a very, very integrated, vertically oriented company in a lot of ways. So unless they actually develop and build their own cells, much like what Tesla's about to do, they're going to be at a cost disadvantage. So the flip side of that, of course, is there going to be a lot of compromises in those cars. I mean, they're going to have less range, not as much performance. They're going to cut corners in order to compete in a lot of ways. So there's no doubt in my mind that those cars won't improve over time. But Tesla has such a lead on a lot of ways that it's I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just one of those things, you know. I think the other manufacturers are going to come up, but it's going to take longer than I think a lot of people anticipate. In a lot of ways, too, they also have an uphill battle because you got the whole dealership network situation, which is in a lot of ways very hostile to selling electric vehicles because their business model is, well, we make money on the service side of stuff, not on the front end. And Tesla was actually smart in a lot of ways to say, look, we're not going to go down the dealership route. We can't do franchises because, you know, it's counterproductive to what we want to do. And the moment they go down the franchise, I mean, that's a slippery slope. I think that's why Tesla's fighting so hard to not do the franchise thing, because the moment you do that, you can't put the genie back in the bottle, you know?
We have 5 agreements. That's not good, guys. Come on. But actually, I agree as well. I want to change up the question a little bit, really picking up on the very end of what Trevor said. Tesla lead keeps expanding, actually, despite some things you hear. I think that's really the case. So I want to go back to an old meme and bring it forward into the future. The old meme is, gosh, what if somebody acquired Tesla Motors? What if that somebody was a legacy auto company or maybe a newer tech company? So let's look into the future. 5 years again seems like a good spectrum. The lead keeps expanding, and somebody is going to say to themselves, you know, despite the stock price, maybe Tesla's worth an acquisition. Or flipping things around, maybe Tesla, given their current stock price and valuation, may acquire a legacy maker. But let's focus on the first part. Guys, if they were acquired, is that a good thing or a bad thing? What would it mean? That's kind of a crazy question, but it's relevant. Trev, we'll start with you and work down the other way. Sorry for the pressure.
Personally, I don't think that Tesla's going to be acquired. They're too big. They're too far gone now. I mean, there was a time, actually there were several cases where Tesla almost went bankrupt. 2008 during the financial crisis, and around 2013, early part of 2013, Elon had said that, you know, he had talked to the guys at Google about a possible acquisition. The bottom line here is Tesla's intellectual property, their factories, their know-how, their engineering, their patent portfolio is just, it's, even if they were to be acquired, let's say things really went south for whatever reason, that's worth something. I mean, how many people have seen the video by Chamath Palihapitiya? Okay, I got it on my YouTube channel if you look at it. This guy, man, he's got his head on his shoulders. And he really makes a point, you know, that property is so valuable, any auto manufacturer would pony up the money to buy them because it's so valuable. I think the onus really is the other manufacturers have to pay attention to what Tesla's actually doing, and because they're so disruptive in many different ways. So if anybody was to acquire them, well, obviously they have to have very deep pockets. And if you look at the market as far as what's a good fit, I mean, a lot of people like to throw around Apple, for example. It's no secret that Apple's been working on this Project Titan for many years with nothing to show for it. But they have deep pockets, so if it doesn't work out, well, cost of doing business, right, and move on. But if you look at the way Tesla operates, a lot of the stuff is pulled out of straight Apple's playbook in a lot of ways, right? So there's a lot of fitment there, but would would Apple really want to have a car business? I mean, I don't know.
I think over the past decade since Tesla started, I think there was a number of opportunities where even Elon would have been open to acquisition because he was afraid of the future of the company. But now, after 2 quarters of profitability, major buy-ins over the past months by large institutional investors, I can't imagine anybody can offer enough money now for these guys to give up their share, because it's now very clear that Tesla not only can be profitable, but they are profitable, and they're growing in a world when the rest of the manufacturers have, marginal growth and aren't even jumping on the EV wagon. In fact, like the Q4 earnings report from Ford even more shows how important electric is. Like Ford lost a ton of money, their CEO just left. Like Tesla is leading the future in both electric vehicles and autonomy and batteries and neural processing chips to handle autopilot. There's so many technology pieces that they're in the lead on that, although their market cap is 160 billion, if Tesla's going to seriously consider an acquisition, it's probably going to be $500 billion or plus that nobody can afford. And at this point, I don't see Elon walking away from it, because for you guys who follow Elon Musk, all of this for him is, he wants to help improve Earth with Tesla, but this is really a cash machine to help put humans on Mars. So I don't see any way that he walks away from this thing now.
I agree. I think if this was going to happen, it was going to happen years ago. And maybe if it did happen years ago, it would have been something that would have been positive for Tesla and for whatever OEM or company it was, that acquired them. But at this point, I think that there's a few automotive CEOs that are kind of coming around. They're starting to get on Twitter and tweet and support Elon and finally realize that Tesla has done this and now they're behind and they need to work harder. But there's still a lot of automakers that I think don't have a lot of faith in Tesla and think that it might even be, of course, not only cost prohibitive, but also a detriment to take them on, as even though they have had 2 profitable quarters, they haven't been profitable in the past, and there's all kinds of negativity out there still about how they handle things and how they run things, and I don't know if there's any major automaker that would want to adopt that. But like Trevor had said, someone like Apple makes more sense, but I think that's beyond us now. I think if Apple was going to acquire Tesla, that needed to happen 3 or 4 years
Yeah, that
ago.
should be said.
Yeah, for sure.
Apple's play too, from what I understand from my information on Apple, is that they decided to go with a pure tech play, meaning Apple doesn't want to be in the automotive business. They're developing an autonomy solution that is going to be something that they want to license and sell to auto manufacturers. Apple, from my understanding, wants to stay in the pure tech business and not own the difficulty of manufacturing cars. There's some great comparisons that I've seen that actually building rockets is far easier.
All right, I'm just walking out of the talk over there. I just wanted to kind of give my own feedback on some of these ideas that were expressed over here. And if you guys been watching my YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. It's adigitalnomad.net. That's adigitalnomad.net. And I've been talking for years. We got over 3,000 videos on my channel. A lot of them dealing with these subject matters and have been for some time. And I want to mention that no one's going to acquire Tesla. The only question was someone going to force Tesla into bankruptcy and make them get taken over? And that's not going to happen. There's no way. Look at the stock price. I've done some videos recently on how that has skyrocketed and gone up to almost $1,000 a share. They've got all these systems that they've had implemented for a long time. They're all connected. They're all connected to the internet continually. They've got all the big data. Nobody else even has this. Forget the fact that they're legacy ICE manufacturers. They don't even have these systems even in their electric cars or their ICE cars, and they're not even going to have any anytime soon that I know of, and certainly not the whole fleet of cars having these systems. So Tesla is pretty much unstoppable, let's put it this way at this point, and I'm sure people will try to stop them like they have tried all along to stop them continually. And there's stuff about in the news now about the Model S having autopilot features taken away when it was sold on the used car market. I'm sure that was true, but does it even matter? And is that a big deal? No, but these are the kind of tactics that people use because there's nothing else they can do. And of course, Elon Musk and Tesla are way ahead. And you know, I've said, and many people have said for years, that they're ahead, maybe 3 to 5 years ahead in the future. But I think it's more like 10 years ahead in the future now. They are so far ahead, no one's catching up. They're not even close to catching up. So if you guys want to know more, make sure you subscribe to my channel at aDigitalNomad.net. That is aDigitalNomad.net. And I talk about this stuff all the time, and I'd love to talk to you guys too. Hear your feedback, comments on the videos, and of course, if you're watching this now, and you could be watching it on my channel, you could be watching it on one of the many social media channels we have that are plant-based, lifestyle-based, vegan, electric car-based, lots of EV groups in Facebook. And you know, so please comment with your thoughts on that, because this is an EV. It's like supposed to be the largest gathering of EV people on the East Coast, and maybe it is. I don't know. But the thing is, it's turned into a Tesla gathering, okay? I mean, there's hardly any other cars here. If you saw some other live videos, there was a Jaguar and 2 Audis, I think, and every other car here, well, there was a Nissan Leaf. I did see at least 1 or 2. But every other car is a Tesla, and that's really saying something. This is not a Tesla convention, but it's basically turned into that. So anyway, enough about that when named Tesla, okay? They've just got everybody. They've just got everybody in a really bad position right now. Every other manufacturer is in a really bad position. If you think any different, comment, let me know. So thanks so much for watching, and again, subscribe to the YouTube channel aDigitalNomad.net. Talk to you soon. Bye.